Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. Let's now move on to the Spotlight segment. And of course, we're talking about Android 17 Beta 4. This is the final beta, guys. Google had indicated this earlier on that the fourth beta would be the last beta. And then we'll be waiting for that final release. And maybe we'll get it sometime in June. And then, of course, we'll be coming out with Pixel 11. I hope that is the case, unlike what happened. I think it was Pixel 9 that I was kind of a little bit pissed off about. It came with an older whatever. But that's what we got. We're going to kind of talk a little bit. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the fixes that this came with. And so here's a little what is new and some of the fixes that came along with Android 17 Beta 4. 2 weeks ago, Google dropped Android 17 Beta 3, and 2 weeks later, we now have the final beta for Android 17, which is Beta 4. There are some few changes, probably most notably a couple of those that we have. But first, I want to apologize that I do have a cold, and so I'm not sounding like myself. But we got a couple new items in there. I think that mine came in at 1.7 gigs, but there are also several other under the hood changes or fixes, and we'll look at those as well. The first category of the two items that we can see here is app memory limits. This can be found in the developer section of the phone. Android 17 Beta 4 introduces conservative app memory limits to improve system stability. If your app is killed by these limits, applications exit info.get.description will contain this memory limiter. You can also use trigger-based profiling to capture heap dumps when limits are hit using trigger.type.anomaly. Next, background audio hardening changes. Starting in Android 17, the audio framework enforces restrictions on background audio interactions, including audio playback, audio focus requests, and volume changes APIs. Based on your feedback, we've made changes since Beta 2, including Target SDK, getting while in use FGS enforcement, and accepting alarm audio. Full details available in the updated guidance. Those are some of the new changes, and below are the fixes that come with this beta. 1. An issue where web page URLs were automatically included when sharing screenshots from Capture Previews, causing unwanted links to be shared with image files. 2. An accessibility issue caused the device to become completely unresponsive and unusable. 3. An issue where the media control widget could disappear or fail to navigate between multiple active media sessions. 4. An issue where Dream Services failed to correctly process key events, trigger keyguard bouncer prompts, or execute service lifecycle callbacks. 5. An issue that prevented users from successfully downloading and applying cinematic or local weather wallpaper effects. 6. An issue where the device would freeze and spontaneously restart while typing in messaging applications. 7. A critical system instability issue that causes the device to hang or crash during normal usage. 8. an issue causing devices to experience significantly reduced charging speeds when approaching the 80% battery limit, resulting in long delays before the device reaches its target charge and enters bypass mode. 9. A rendering issue that caused multicolored horizontal lines to randomly obscure the device display. 10. Pulling down the notification drawer while a feedback report is in progress can cause a system UI crash and device freeze. 11. Critical system components, including Pixel Launcher and navigation, may crash or become unresponsive for several minutes after a device reboots. 12. An accessibility issue that prevents users from properly interacting with apps after minimizing and returning to a split-screen view. 13. An issue that prevented Bluetooth from being re-enabled after it was turned off via the system settings or quick settings panel. 14. Notifications marked with set silent to true may unexpectedly play alarm sounds on Android 16 when multiple notifications are present in the shade. 15. Wi-Fi analyzer applications fail to detect any available Wi-Fi signals, preventing network scanning and signal monitoring. 16. On the subject matter of accessibility, the one bug that had been persistent since Android 17 Beta 2, where the Braille display wouldn't connect after one shuts down the phone or the Braille display, is now fixed. And those are some of those changes, and I hope that with these, though, you also have a fix for some of the crashes that we've been hearing about, especially those of you running other versions of Android that had that March security patch, because we also have the security patch for April, which coincides with this. So I hope that works for you guys. But these are the changes and the fixes that we have that came with Android 17 Beta 4, which is the final one. And by the way, TalkBack 17 also comes built in with this version of Android 17 Beta 4. And that's what we have. So that's what we got. And like I said, it has TalkBack 17 built in because it's the final beta. So they rolled TalkBack 17 into this one. And so if you have a qualifying Pixel anywhere from Pixel 6 through 10, you can enroll in this if you haven't. But if not, you just wait. We're not too long away from when that final one would be. But there's something, guys, that sighted people are excited about. It's only found like in the code where there's going to be like a glow of some kind. So if you get some notification, it will glow in the back. I don't know. That might require a new hardware because the back of the Pixel phone is not transparent or translucent. So I don't know how you guys are going to imagine that would be.
This is where Nothing Phone users will be excited. I think they will be one of the first ones to have it.
Yeah, so I think that their own tech is a little bit different from that of the Nothing Phone. But I think if they're going to put it in the existing phones, they'll utilize the camera bar, and maybe they'll figure out something to, emit from the camera bar. But I don't know. I'm not excited about that.
Yeah, they like those sort of crazy customizations, and I'm sure the next Nothing Phone will be compatible.
And another thing that I noticed in this Android 17 Beta 4 is that the broken Braille support, that the Braille display that had been broken since Beta 2 is fixed, where if you pair your device and then you restart the device, it just disappears. Now it works just the way that it used to. So that is good. And if you are in Korea or maybe Japan, for example, you got better keyboard and Braille support, and also those that have Braille devices, you can further customize those commands. So we got new commands that you could use in customizing your Braille device. So some of those changes are what we have, especially those of us that rely on accessibility.
Anything new in TalkBack 17?
Yes, so it has those things in TalkBack 17. So if you want, you can enroll one of your Pixels in there. Mike, you got a bunch of Pixel phones, so throw one of them on the beta.
I have 3, although I never set out to get that, and I'll get to that story during the journey. I never set out to get a Pixel collection. That story had some crazy twists to it, how I ended up that way.
Welcome to my motel. So you'll be telling us that story later on.
Oh yeah. I didn't set out for that to happen that way, but yeah, it's a twisty story.
It's a beautiful thing.